We are going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
There's Dr. Wilson.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Do they put my face on here too?
I hear you talking to
Well, I'm sure I'm going to lose the connection, but they'll have me listed as here. You know what? I don't care. I've already told them I don't like Zoom. Plus, I want my cheeseburger and French fries. I'm not going to get it.
Have a good lunch.
We are live, Amy. Are we going to do a roll call?
Yeah. Everybody, this is Amy Tomlinson, new director at Lake Cumberland District Health Department. I'm happy to see all of you all joining today.
You may have to.
I'm going to turn it over to your chair, Miss Gina, and have her, if you don't mind, Gina, could you call for a roll call so we can just officially get on record who's here?
Do it by Zoom.
Yes, I will. Let's see. Now, I just do for our local members. Is that right, Amy? Not for.
Yeah, and I think Kim can actually do it for you if you want her to do
I
the
would like
roll
for her to, please. Thank you. Kim?
Okay, Randy Dial.
Here.
Okay. Gina Goode.
Here.
Dr. Darren Cundiff. He's here. He's texted me. He doesn't have audio, I don't think. Jennifer Overstreet.
Here.
Okay. Dr. Brown.
Here.
Hey, everybody's showing up.
Hey, King.
Here.
Dr. Wilkie.
Here.
Dr. Price.
I'm here.
Okay. Dr. Haddad. Homer Heck. Homer's not here, right? I don't see him on here. Linda Lee is with me.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have Jennifer Sugars. I don't know who that 706-1495 is. It's showing up.
That's me.
Is that Randy? Okay, Randy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got everyone present, but
I couldn't Zoom link to work, so I used to call him.
oh, that's okay. That's good. So I've got everyone here, but Dr. Haddad and Homer. Is that correct?
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
So we officially have a quorum then, it looks like, and we're ready to go ahead with the agenda. Gina, whenever you're ready.
You give me some.
All right. We're going to call the meeting to order at this time. And we're going to start with the approval of last year's meeting minutes.
I need someone to get something to them. I'm hungry.
Did everyone receive the minutes? Had a chance to look at them?
Gina, this is Kay King. I make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented. I make a motion.
All right, we have a motion to accept the minutes as they are. Do we have a second, please?
I think I have Darren. He's texting me. Motion to approve minutes by Darren.
All right. All right. All in favor? Say aye, please. Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. All right, now we're going to move on to old business.
I think this is just a time where it's giving you an opportunity if there's anything we haven't failed to follow up on or anything that was pending from the last meeting. I don't think there was a whole lot on the minutes that I saw that was still outstanding. But if there's anything that you all need addressed, we're willing to do that.
Does anyone have anything this time? Okay, if not, let's move on to new business.
All right. I think we can roll right on into, unless someone has something specific on their minds, we can roll right on into finances and that will be our new business, most likely setting the tax rate and going over the budget. But if anyone has anything else, also we can talk about that as well. I'm going to ask Ron if he doesn't mind and if it's okay with you, Madam Chair, to go ahead and unmute. And he's going to do our financials presentation since he's most familiar with your budgets. I've reviewed everything and he and I have discussed these at length. So I'm going to let him present them to you all.
All right, turn it over to Ron.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am going to start with in your packet. I'm going to share my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
I'll take that as we're good. Okay. In your packet, it'll be page 4 of 26. If you're not able to see the screen, we're going to start with the financials. You probably don't remember seeing these in some prior years. We normally send out all your year-end financials sometime between August and November, just depending on if we have an audit, because we really can't send out the financials until we know we have an approved audit. Of course, this year you guys did. So I thought it was kind of silly to send the financials out earlier in the year and then just have you guys look, because I assume at that point, if you receive them, in your email and you're looking at them, you probably have less chance of being able to really dive in and look at them or really ask any questions. So I thought it was better to give them to you and start moving forward each year, start giving them to you in your packets, and do them at the meeting. And that way, if you have any questions, you can always ask me at the meeting. So I want to start really quickly, and I won't hammer these like the budget. I'll spend a little more time with it in detail, but I won't hammer each of these lines like I will in the budget. But for the financials ended June 30, 2021, we had started with cash at the beginning of the year of $625,610 as of July 1st, 2020. We had received revenues throughout the year, receipts of $318,030. That's of course comprised of all the normal revenues. There was nothing different between real estate taxes, tangible property taxes, motor vehicle taxes, a little bit of delinquent, a little bit of telecommunications tax as usual, and some interest income from your bank accounts and CD. Which gave you a total cash available for the year before expenditures of $943,610. You have for your expenditures, once again, normal expenditure categories that you have on a recurring basis. Of course, y'all still have the building project being done.
I'm in the middle of a Zoom meeting. Can you call me back?
Your total expenditures were $633,075. I'll just highlight your district management fee there. That of course that's the fee you be part of the district that y'all pay every single year of $200,798. That's a recurring cost. It goes up, it tends to go up or down based on the amount of property taxes you receive. And then building improvements to finish out all the building things that were done with the new building we have over in Casey for the new Casey County Health Department. We paid $396,842. The other costs we paid were pretty normal for furniture and fixtures. We had a little more in equipment this year, but all in budget of total expenditures, like I said before, $633,075. That left you with cash on hand at the end of the year of $310,535. And as you can see on your statements, there's a breakout there between your checking and your CD. The next statement is your balance sheet. Now I'll quickly just mention that this is just a reflection of your cash. It gives you, once again, the breakdown between checking and CD and how much you had in opening balance equity, retained earnings, things like that, and your net income. But Moving on to your profit and loss budget versus actual. This might be something you're more interested in. Obviously, because of the building improvements, you finished at a deficit, but we had projected that deficit. As you can see at the bottom here, it says we had projected a $372,000 deficit. We actually finished $57,000 higher than that with a $315,000 deficit. So even though it's a big deficit, we had projected that, if you remember, with all the major building improvements we did. And we stayed well under budget in those categories. As you can see, we were well under budget in our building improvement category right here of $21,000. We were also well under budget in some of our normal categories, such as maintenance and repair and equipment and things like that. And the reason that is as normal, if we don't have any major building things that happen, that goes back into our budget. So, we cushion that with some miscellaneous costs in those categories, so we don't have to have special call board meetings to approve some bad things that could happen, like HVAC units going out and things like that. Just some bad things happening there. So that went back into your budget. And as a whole, we actually under projected revenues a little bit, which is good. You received more. COVID didn't impact that. You actually stayed pretty true to form there, and we were able to collect a little more than we budgeted there too, about $15,000 more than we budgeted there. So all in all, we came out $57,000 ahead of budget, which is great. Are there any questions about any of the financials I presented? Of course, you have them in your packets, and I can always answer after the meeting as well. But if there are any questions before I move on to the audit for 2020.
Judge Dial, are you able to see the information that Ron is going over? Did you receive it in a hard copy since you've called in?
No, ma'am, I didn't. I'm in Campbellsville today, getting ready to meet the governor, so I'm not. I'm sitting in my truck right now. I don't have anything with me, but I can keep up with the numbers. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. If there's no questions, I'm going to move on to the audit. Of course, I'm going to quickly go through the audit because it basically reflects the financials I just had. But we always have to present the audit to you as a requirement. As of June 30, 2021, that we were audited by RFH. That is an organization we've been using for a number of years now. They do a great job, and they do a lot of health departments around the state. The only thing I'm going to focus on two reports from them. Not really. Once again, I'm going to skip over the financials they prepared, and mainly because they reflect to the penny everything I just showed you. But I do want to show you that in the paragraph in their auditor's report here, it says that in their opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the assets, liabilities, and fund balances of the Casey County Public Health Taxing District as of June 30, 2021, and the respective revenues and expenditures for the year then ended. So you guys have a clean audit. So that means they didn't find anything that's out of the ordinary in the financials. Everything looked clean and good. So that's good. Then they sent us another report, and I won't go, like I said, here's all the financials. I won't go through those. There are some notes in here. They're all the same kind of notes they give. They leave a note on cash and how that represents everything in the for each health department and things like that. That they did leave a note for this year as a newer note they're starting to leave, but of course they won't be needing it probably in future years. But the last couple of years they've left a COVID-19 pandemic note, and what that says is since early 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic forced certain restrictions in the U.S. and the state of Kentucky. The economic impact of the pandemic could result in a negative impact on the taxing district's revenues. The duration and pervasiveness of the pandemic are uncertain as of the day of these financials. The taxing district is continuously evaluating the impact of COVID-19 on its operations and finances. Of course, like I said before, it did not really impact you guys much as it did others around other types of organizations and things like that. We did just fine through the pandemic. So, but they had to leave that note just in case something caused that to happen. In moving on, they give you a report over internal control. That's really how our internal controls are done over financial reporting. We're supposed to have something in place to monitor those things and make sure everything's in compliance. Only thing I want to read is one line here from the results of the compliance. It says the results of our test disclose no instances of non-compliance or other matters that are required to be reported under governing auditing standards. Once again, that shows we have a clean audit. We have no instances of non-compliance, so we are clean there. So as an entire audit, we did great. There's no issues there. Before I move on to the budget, Is there any questions about any of the financials I reported or the audit? If not, before I move on to the budget, I think you have to actually make a motion to accept the audit.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept the audit as Ron has just presented to us?
I'll make that motion. Randy Dial.
Okay. Judge Dial made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Don Wilkie.
All right, Dr. Wilkie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion carries.
I am going to move on to the budget presentation. As you guys know, we actually have to approve the tax rate next, but we always thought it was better to always include the rates and present the budget first with the rates included, so you get a better picture of what those rates are going to represent in your actually net outcome before you approve. So I will present this budget as Sean used to do in prior years, after I'm done with the presentation, you can ask questions, of course, but we will have to have an approval of the tax rate first after I do the budget presentation, and then we'll move on to the actual budget approval after that. I'm going to start at the top section here to give you an indication of how we're getting to our starting cash balance for the budget year starting July 1st, 2022 and ending June 30, 2023. So our balance as of December 31st, 2021, about a month ago, I'm showing a total cash balance of $415,400. That is made up of checking account funds of $252,551 and CD account funds of $162,849. We have a projected remaining receipts. You've already received a chunk of your receipts through December. So your remaining receipts, projected tax receipts, are $55,146, which will be received sometime from February till the end of the year, June 30, 2022. Once again, made up of all categories of tax from real estate, motor vehicle, tangible, delinquent, and telecommunications. And then projected remaining interest earned based on those revenues and cash balance of $430. Between CD and checking interest, as you can see above here. The total funds available before expenditures would be $470,975 before remaining 2022 expenditures. For the expenditures, we are showing that you're going to be paying the other half of the district fee, the other 2.8 cent fee, to be part of the district of $100,332.50. The first half we always normally pay in November and December, so you guys have already paid that first half, and that second half, which we're showing here, is going to be paid sometime around May or June to finish out the year. You have some advertising costs left to spend, which you may or may not spend, of $300. You will have to pay for the audit. The audit is, I think at this point, it may already be paid for as of January. Of course, these are through December, but if they're not, they're very, very close to being paid for the audit. So that will definitely come to fruition, that $1,400 payment. You have maintenance and repairs remaining, $45,000. Once again, we may not be spending all that. That was budgeted based on things that are still needing done. There was a chunk of miscellaneous cost involved in that. So all those funds, once again, if they're not spent, will go back into your budget. But I project at least a chunk of those getting spent based on what we budgeted last year. So we did still put the whole $45,000 in there. You will be spending the dues and subscriptions remaining of KPHA and CalBO. We have already done KPHA, but you will have some CalBO funds remaining to be at the Kentucky Association of Local Boards of Health. That's something you guys are in every year. So you have about $1,100 left to spend in that. There's probably not a good chance you're going to be spending this $500 in board expense unless we use it for some other miscellaneous funds that aren't covered in one of these categories. If you remember, the board expense we do every year of $500 is for in-person board meetings to spend on food cost. And I heard one of the board members saying earlier that they were missing, that face-to-face and the food and everything. I'm sure all of you are. We'll be budgeting for that again, as you'll see. But since we're on Zoom again, we obviously don't have that spent. So I project we probably won't be spending much of that unless something is unforeseen by June 30, 2022. But we still budget just in case that it is spent. And so furniture and fixtures, once again, $2,750 remaining, and equipment of $17,766 remaining, leaving a total estimated remaining expenditures of $169,214. That would leave you a cash balance as of July 1st, 2022 of $301,762. So getting into the actual budget, the way I'm going to present this budget, if you notice, there are three main columns to the right on this budget. There's a proposed budget at a current rate, a break even, and a surplus. This is how we present this budget to you every year. Of course, last year you guys had a rate change. Y'all had a drop because y'all had apparently a rate increase years ago to get the building cost to pay for a building, and now y'all have the building. So y'all decided last year to reduce the rate down to 0.037. As you'll see in a second, you're going to see that rate has served you well, and we certainly have more room to add some cost there in the future. We're not planning for a lot of big things to happen because I'm guessing Kim and them want to have more of a quiet year since we had such major costs spent for Casey in the last year and a half, 2 years. As you'll see, I think you'll think that rate is sufficient and good that y'all dropped it there. But I'll get to that in a second. But I'm going to present the budget at the current rate that you're at right now. And then y'all can decide in a little bit how y'all want to do that. Your current budget of real property taxes are $194,142. Your tangible property taxes are $36,385. And your motor vehicle taxes are $35,017. I know most of you know this, but I'm going to show you in case there's some people on here who've not seen where we get these numbers before. But we are given the tax numbers from the state, and they get it from the Office of Property Evaluation. And we got that for Casey County. We always get that, I want to say sometime around November. And we take those numbers and we plug that in to our little calculation sheet we made, basically copying and pasting those numbers and then calculating based on your different rates, what we think you're going to be receiving. And we factor that in at a 95% collection rate, knowing there's chances you won't be receiving every piece of those funds due to various reasons. So that is where we get each of those three numbers I just mentioned to you. The delinquent tax collections are always hard to estimate. I say that to every board because it just varies by month and by year and by county, kind of how those are done and how much is paid out to the county each year. Some years you get 6,000, some years you get 3, 2. It just usually based on what you're getting current year, and based on current year, I'm going to project that you're going to be receiving about $3,640 next year for the budget. And then telecommunications tax, $1,528, with a little bit of interest income from checking and CD of $883. That's going to give you total budget receipts of $271,596, with total funds available after receipts and before budgeted expenditures of $573,358. Moving on to the expenditures. Here, the first line is your normal management fee to be part of the district at 2.8 cents of $211,529. Once again, we get that from our calculation sheet based on the numbers that are given to us. And then in your building maintenance and repair, we have a couple, all these categories in building maintenance and repair are normal cost. I know it's been a little odd for y'all last couple of years. We've had this particular expense category really filled up the last couple of years with building improvements and building maintenance and repair and things like that, but it's more of a quiet year for building maintenance. We just budgeted some recurring things. Snow removal of $1,000, landscape maintenance $2,000, miscellaneous costs of $15,000, totaling $18,000. As we always want to explain to you, the reason the miscellaneous is so high is because we're always budgeting for HVAC repair or something big that could happen to the building to prevent us from having a special call board meeting. I normally increase that up $1,000 or $2,000 about every few years because as the costs go up, it's getting really expensive to replace things like that now. So that's what that represents. Your furniture and fixtures, a lot of these are recurring. There are a couple things I think Casey wanted to add this year. The seasonal decor is normal. We normally do about $500 for that. They wanted a new table for the lobby for $350 and an outdoor composite picnic table for $2,200, with a little bit of miscellaneous costs for unforeseen things, broken chairs, broken office furniture, things like that for $2,500, giving you total budgeted furniture and fixtures of $5,550. Moving on to equipment, we have miscellaneous computers and related equipment. What that is anything miscellaneous that we may have to buy every year or each year if something gets broke: computers, printers, fax machines, things IT related. That's what we have that in there for $10,000. The generator maintenance, if you guys remember, you guys have an automatic generator. The people that installed that generator come once a year to do annual maintenance on it, to check the fluids, to make sure it's working properly, do tests on it. We budget that at $500 a year. It normally costs around that range to get that done once a year. Casey wanted this year to get a fan with a mount for the records room for $350, and they wanted to get a mini vaccine freezer for $500. And then any other miscellaneous cost that is unforeseen. That would be something not planned for. Once again, that's not IT related. It could be like a big vaccine fridge that goes out, or something related to that, so some kind of equipment the nurses need or something that's not IT related. That would be in that category of unforeseen things that they need for $7,500, giving you total of equipment of $18,850. We have the same advertising we normally budget for. It's been sufficient to cover our funds for the newspaper and SPGE the last chunk of years for $300. Normal dues and subscriptions, Calbo, SPG, and KPHA for $1,500. And then, of course, the food fee or the meeting fee that we have every year, $500 to help cover our board meeting. We have that budgeted once again. That gives us total budget expenditures on the budget for $256,229. That would leave us with a cash balance remaining of $317,129, with a net surplus of $15,367. I'll now entertain questions, and if there are no questions, y'all will now move to talking and approving the tax rate.
I want to add one thing to the discussion here, just as Kim Kane called me yesterday, and we had a discussion about some office space there in the building, and that she had, as of yesterday, assigned the final office that was available that's empty. So she asked me about, did we need to talk today about the possibility of an addition to the building or an annex or something? And I looked back in the minutes, and this was discussed last year. Mr. Crabtree, it says, also discussed the possibility of building an annex building in the future. So this is something that has been on the horizon that you all kind of knew going into this, I guess. But believe it or not, the space in the brand new building, in the newly renovated building, is already becoming limited. So as we're able to come back from COVID and get back to normal duties and fully restaff positions, it may become an issue moving forward that we need to look at additional space or doing something additional in the building as is. So I just want to plant that seed with you all. We're not asking you to raise any tax rates or anything this year. We're not asking you to take on a building project, but maybe just to plant the seed that maybe this does need to be something at least an exploratory committee may want to consider or look at, or maybe some of you all want to do a walkthrough of the building with Kim and let her show you the issues and kind of give you an idea of what's going on. But wanted to put that on your radar. It has nothing to do with this year's budget. It's not anything that's included in this year's numbers that Ron has discussed with you, but I did want to give you that update as just to file it away in the back of your mind as you're thinking about these things. So, Madam Chair, I guess we are ready to, if there's discussion, anyone that wants to ask a question. Ron, you may have to unmute people. I'm not sure if they know how to do that for themselves, but we want to allow time for discussion. And then the next step would be to approve a tax rate. And it was presented 3 different ways for you all to look at and decide. The current tax rate, as was presented, is plenty sufficient for this year. So we're not asking necessarily for any sort of a raise or anything like that. We just need to know your preferences.
Do we have any thoughts on this?
One thing I'd like to, this is Randy Dial. One thing I wanted to add on that, and I know some people that have followed real estate prices at all will know that our area of the state of Kentucky had some of the largest increases in property values in the nation in the last 2 or 3 years. So these numbers are going to be probably going to be substantially higher because these projections are based on last year's numbers. So if the assessments continue to rise as they have over the last 2 or 3 years, they're going to be a little higher than they're going to be at least what these numbers are, and probably considerably higher.
That's a good point, Judge.
And
I know the last couple of years, or last year, on our tax rate for the county's tax rate, us leaving our rate as it was going to be in excess of the 4% increase. If we just left our rate as it was the year before, that was going to be in excess of the 4% increase. So we had to lower ours just to stay below the 4% increase. So it was a substantial decrease, to leave the revenue the same that it was the year before.
can I say something? Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Dr. Wilkie.
Well, that was on real estate, and I've seen some similar type of talk about vehicle taxes, or the used vehicle assessments are going up. So that'll be another tax revenue increase if they do what they say. So I don't know how extensive that'll be, but that's another thing. So we've got the tax valuations are going to give us an automatic raise in amounts. We're doing nothing with rates.
Judge Dial may be able to speak more to that, but I think the vehicle tax rates that you're speaking about, Dr. Wilkie, they're looking at the Kentucky State Legislature is looking at a bill to repeal that, to
Okay.
take that back down. So it wouldn't be something that an average consumer will have to pay. So hopefully that takes effect for the common person like me who has to go pay and register their cars. I would appreciate that.
What that bill actually does is it allows the individual counties, the PVA in those individual counties, to make adjustments to what that book value on that particular vehicle is. I still think it's going to be. It may not be 40% like the book values. I've heard lots of things posted from the revenue cabinet in Frankfurt. It says vehicle assessments are up 40%. So it may not be that 40% that we're going to see a 40% increase in motor vehicle values, but I think it's still going to be a substantial increase, even if that bill passes. Now, I believe that they will do something with that bill. I spoke to them about that day before yesterday, and I think there's some movement on that bill. But even if that bill does pass, I think we'll still see a significant increase in revenue and in taxes across the board. The watercraft, all of them, I think will be a substantial increase.
Any further discussion?
Ron, can you unmute everyone just for long enough for the discussion and make sure no one's trying to talk that we can't hear? I'm sorry if this will be loud. There may be background noise and things you all are going to hear, but I wanted to give everybody a chance to talk if they needed to.
Yes, hang on just one second. I'm trying to fix my stuff here. Let's see. Amy, I've lost my stuff on where is it just clicking on one person if I recall, and then it gives you option for all, but I can't find them. You know, I can do individuals, but I can't.
Just do them individually is fine.
Okay. I think she's good.
Oh. Yeah. I've lost my screen.
It's giving me the option to ask everybody to unmute. So if they want to unmute, they can. There should be a message on there for them to click on it now.
I was clearing something over the side.
Okay. I think everyone should have an opportunity now to talk if they choose to. We're still waiting on a motion or a movement on the tax rate, Madam Chair.
Go back to
it. This is Dr. Price. I see the second column there is to a decreased tax rate, and it appears like you still have plenty of money even if we decrease the tax rate.
You can, sir, but as you remember, normally we recommended in prior, and there's not a lot going on this year, and I bet Tim can, or Tim, I bet Kim can attest to the fact that the reason there's not probably as much going on because we did so much in prior years. There will be projects and stuff moving forward. I'm not talking about the annex, that's a big one, but there'll be other big projects moving forward, which would cause this to be more of a break even or deficit budget in this first column. And since you already decreased it last year, we always want to recommend to the board. It's always up to you guys, but that once you go down, it's always hard to go up for things like that. So if you decreased it now and then you need to do an annex building or need to cover costs in the future, it's always harder to do that. Always hard to bring it back up. So
it's obvious you don't want us to drop it down, but I do want it dropped down. That's just my opinion.
It's certainly completely up to you guys.
Yeah, that's completely your call. This is your meeting.
The property valuation taxes have gone up quite a bit. You're going to get more money than what your budget says. I think we should lower it.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
But Dr. Price, was that a motion to lower the tax rate by you?
As far as I'm concerned, that's a motion that I'd like to lower the tax rate. And it's not much in that second column. It's still 0.035, isn't it?
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion to lower it to 0.035 and a second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, is it still back to you, Ron?
This will now be since you've done the tax rate approval at 0.035, there will now need to be any discussion on the budget and then an approval on the budget. However y'all want to approve that for that as is on that break even column if y'all so choose.
Any discussion on the budget that he's presented? Do I have a motion for the budget?
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion
budget.
we approve the budget as presented.
Okay, Judge Dow made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Dr. Price.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the motion carries for the budget. Okay, now it looks like we move on to election of officers.
Current slate of officers, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is the chair is Miss Gina, vice chair Darren Cundiff, and then you have a non-voting secretary that was previously Mr. Crabtree. And I'm willing to continue that if that's the desires of the board. That's easy for the director to take that role as a non-voting member, and then that would give the director authority to do some business on behalf of the board and sign paperwork that would make it easier, that we wouldn't have to chase people down for signatures and things, and would just be a little handier. But that's the preference of the board, and you all can decide how to handle that.
Dean, I'll make a motion that if the current slate of officers is willing to serve another year with the addition of the director as the secretary, I'll make that motion.
Okay, now Dr. Price, are you sure you don't want a chair?
I'm sure.
Okay. Well, I'll agree to do it again. If Darren agrees, Dr. Cundiff would agree to be the vice. And we need a motion for this, I guess. Is that correct?
We do, yes, for the chair, the vice
I
chair,
made that motion.
a secretary position also.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
second it.
Darren agrees to stay on his role.
Okay. All right, so we had a motion and we had a second. Judge Dow made the motion. I didn't catch who made this.
Jennifer Overstreet.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, the officers will remain. Okay, I think I turned it over to you, Amy. Is that correct?
Did that motion include someone for the secretary position that was previously Mr. Crabtree? I'm sorry, it may have covered that.
It did. I think when Randy made the motion, he said, and to add you as the secretary.
Okay, just want to make sure all of our ducks are in a row here, covered. Okay, I'll just do very brief director comments, and then we'll roll on with the rest of our just updates from the health department. I just want to say,
Amy, I could interrupt you just a second. The governor's
absolutely, sir.
So I'm going to have to go. Thank you all.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate that. Okay, I just want to very briefly introduce myself. I'm Amy Tomlinson. I'm the new director at the health department for Lake Cumberland. I was appointed the middle of June last year by the district board, and they allowed about a 6-week overlap period with Mr. Crabtree before he retired at the end of July, that I was allowed to work with him and train and learn everything I could. And then so I officially became solo director on August the 1st. And immediately, of course, we had gone down with COVID cases and everything over the summer, and then COVID picked back up in the fall with Delta variant, and then we hit into the holidays and we had Omicron, and it's been continual COVID from the beginning of my tenure now at the health department until the very end. And so been one thing after another. I appreciate all of our local health department staffs that have done the immunization clinics and the vaccination efforts and the education and everything they've done in contact tracing and to get us through the outbreak to this point. We have put in countless number of hours, my staff have, and I'm greatly appreciative. They have taken on so many different roles and hats. It's truly been quite the team effort, and you all have a wonderful group at the Case County Health Department that I can't say enough good things about. So other than that, I will just say that while I'm new to the role of director, I'm not new to the health department. I've been here for 17 years, a little over that now, and I have had many different roles myself here at the health department, so I've had a lot of experience in different programs and areas, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity to serve in this capacity. My door is always open to you all. I'm always willing to take questions or comments. If you reach out to Kim there at the health department, she can give you my cell phone number, and I'm more than happy to talk to you all about your concerns or comments anytime at all. I will just say that from the COVID perspective, things are looking a little bit better. The state numbers are going down. Our local numbers seem to be declining. So I am very hopeful that very soon we will be back to in-person meetings and some normalcy across our district. Besides COVID, the health department is still continuing on with routine services. WIC, diabetes classes, health education efforts are underway and going in school systems, and we are actually reapplying for accreditation again. We did that process about 5 years ago and were initially accredited, and that period has come to an end. So we are now looking at applying for reaccreditation. And that is just a standardization across all of our programs that proves that we're doing things correctly and using best practices and using evidence-based strategies in all of our efforts. And it's been a good process for the health department to go through. It's made a lot of efficiencies, and we've identified a lot of ways that we can make improvements across our district that have helped cost-wise as well as personnel-wise, just a lot of different things that's been done better because of that process. I will say, too, that it's been brought to my attention relatively recently that we became a 10-county district in 1982. So this year should mark the 40th anniversary of us being a 10-county district. And we are the largest district in the state as well as the oldest district. So that is quite an honor. And I hope that that is something that I can research a little further on and plan some kind of big celebration for staff and our boards across the district, maybe this summer. So I just wanted to make that known because that is quite, like I said, quite an accomplishment to pull together this broad of a geographic area and work together with our boards and our partners across the 10 counties for 40 consecutive years. That is a major milestone. So I will hush and Madam Chair, if it's okay with you, I will turn the floor over to Ms. Jelaine Harlow. She's our health education representative that's going to give you an update on community numbers and some of the programs.
All right, thank you. Jelaine?
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. So as Amy mentioned, we are working through accreditation again, and with that process, we are updating our community health assessment, and the amended assessment should be on our website by February the 21st, and we will also be getting a new or updated community health improvement plan, which should be available sometime in March. The priority health issues that we identified are substance use, tobacco, obesity, and physical inactivity. And all of this, you can find on our website. This is the way that you can get the information, any kind of data you want on adult obesity, smoking, all of that information is there for you. And I wanted to say that although we have been working hard with COVID response, we are still providing services to the community. In the Casey County schools, most of it has been Zoom, and we are looking forward to being back in person and getting in the schools and working out in the community again. And I want to say how much I appreciate the health department over there being our new space, because I actually have a shared office there now that I can, and I've never had that before in Casey, that I can go when I work in that county and get to do my work. So I do appreciate that. I'm always open for questions. If you all have them, you can call the health department, and my extension is 3221, or just listen for health education. And I'll be glad to talk with you about anything going on, or tell you where to find all this data if you need it for anything. If you guys have any questions now, just go ahead and ask. And other than that, I'll turn it over to the next one. Thank you.
Okay, the next is the diabetes report.
And I don't think they were able to join us. They're not on with us today, but they have provided some information about the diabetes program and the numbers related to diabetes for your county in your packet, so you can review that. And if there's any questions you all have about that, you can reach out to Kim or to myself. We'll be more than happy to connect you with that program manager, the one that's over our diabetes classes. So we are just sharing information at this point, and it should be in your packet. So hopefully you all had received that.
Okay, and next on the agenda is the district board members. That's usually myself and Kay King.
And Judge Dial. Yes, ma'am.
And Judge Dial. Okay, okay. Well, we're going to say that Judge Dial has to remain.
Yeah,
right?
he has to stay. So the other two are the ones you're looking at.
Is anyone interested?
Gina, if you will stay, I will stay.
Okay, that works. I appreciate that, Kay.
Okay.
So do we need a motion for that?
We do, yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion for myself and Kay King to remain as district board members?
I'll give that motion. This is Jennifer Overstreet.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it, Dr. Price.
All right. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries. Okay, Amy, do you have anything else?
I do not. I just want to turn it over to Kim just briefly to see if there's anything she wanted to say. I don't know if she can connect or not, but she may have something about her building or anything related to the board. Just like to give them a chance to talk locally there too.
Hello. I don't have much. Our new building is awesome and everyone loves it. I just will say that we are busting at the seams. I know you all probably don't want to hear that, but we are, and we knew that was going to happen, but we got a really good deal on this building. So when I say we gave our last office space out, I'm talking about a 3x4 room was an office. It was originally a bathroom, and we cut it out just to have an extra office downstairs. So I did give that last office out, and there's nothing else open. So I don't know what you guys want to do, in the future with that, but it would be appreciated if you would look at the thought of it and let us know.
We can do some rearranging and some studies too, and maybe look at cost analysis, whatever it would take for you all to have some information to make a proper decision at the right time. I'm certainly not pushing anything either way, but we want to make sure you all have information. So I will make some trips over there, and we can I'll walk through the building with Kim, and we can look at if there's space that needs to be better optimally used, like rearrange things or whatever. We do have conference space there, I think, available that if we had traveling staff, we could utilize that for the time being, as long as there wasn't privacy issues and things.
And we do use that also, Kelly. We have a large hands area, and I think we're getting a new employee in that office. And then we have Kelly and Michelle, and Kelly, where it's an open room and she has to do all of her visits on Zoom, she does go in that conference room and use that and utilize it too. So just for privacy.
Hopefully we won't be in the Zoom world forever, and this won't always be an issue, but we do need to kind of assess this. And I'm happy to walk through with Kim and try to plan for what will help most on the building. And then give you all some ideas, but just wanted to plant the seed. Like I said, this year, we're not asking for anything at all this year, but we want you all to know that there is something in it possibly need to be done at some point. My purpose is always to be completely transparent with you. I know I'm new to you all and I don't know how this works, but when my office managers tell me there's issues, I want to make sure that you're aware of those issues as well. So I don't ever want to seem like I'm hiding something from you. So I think we are ready. I don't have anything else from the health department's perspective, unless someone has questions or comments for us. So we're ready for adjournment, I suppose, Madam Chair.
Sounds good. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, that was Dr. Wilkie. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it. This is Kay King.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.